Hello everyone, I am back again for another attempt at my first video. Back to show you the Seiko SNXS79. This is one of my favorite new watches that I had. I'm actually enjoying it far more than I thought I would. And to make a recommendation to anybody who's interested, I thought this would be a fun piece to show you if you are interested in getting into automatic watches. Today I am wearing my modified Orient Ray. Orient Ray. I did add the new Pepsi colored bezel on this. I think it looks pretty interesting, and we're going to talk about this one in a later video. But for now, we'll go ahead and move on to the SNXS79 that I have here. As you can see right off the bat, it does have a very unique and very interesting dark gray with sunburst dial to it. I think they did a really fantastic job setting this up. Some people are going to say it looks very similar to the Rolex Oyster Perpetual in the fact that the dial layout has these baton indices, and then you have the baton hands there with a little bit of lume. Rolex has a very similar setup, but don't worry, nobody's going to look at this and think you're wearing a fake Rolex. If they do, who cares? This is a little bit of a smaller watch. It is a 37 millimeter diameter watch, so from here to here is 37 millimeters. From lug tip to lug tip, it's 42 millimeters. And then the lug to lug width, so from here to here, is 19 millimeters. It does have a stainless steel case, fully polished. As you can see, it reflects very well, catches light very well. It is going to look very nice on your wrist. It does have an exhibition case back, so there is a piece of a Hardlex mineral crystal on the back here, so you can see the Seiko movement inside. Seiko movement inside is the standard 7S26 movement. This is Seiko's workhorse movement. It is powered by this little rotor in there that when it's on your wrist, the rotor winds the watch and increases the power to keep it going. So there is no battery in this as it is an automatic watch. One thing though, it is not hand winding and it is not hackable. So what does that mean? It means that when you pull the crown out right here and you don't even have the crown out, but on a lot of watches you would wind the watch, or you could wind the watch by turning the crown. This does absolutely nothing for it. And when you pull the crown all the way out to set the hour on the minute hand, the seconds hand does not stop. On watches that hack, it does stop, so you can better get precise time on your watch. This one doesn't do that. It's not really a great deal. This watch you can typically get for about $100, and if you're looking at it as a luxury watch, it's not quite there. Those look really nice, but you're going to find hacking and hand winding on a little more complicated, a little more expensive watches typically. And that's not always the case. There's really cheap watches out there that are automatic that do hack and hand wind, but Seiko opted to not go with that for this particular movement. This movement's been around for a long time. I know at least 1996, maybe even earlier than that, from what I know. But it works. It's cheap. Consider the fact that it doesn't hack or hand wind is less of a fail point. If something ever goes wrong with the watch. So that's always maybe a little peace of mind there. It does have a flat Hardlex crystal on top. Some people like that. Some people don't. I've never had a problem with Hardlex. The alternative that you can have that a lot of people like is sapphire glass. Sapphire is much more scratch resistant. Hardlex does tend to pick up scratches over time. It is a little bit harder from what I understand. So, if the watch were to hit something in just a way that, it might break sapphire, it may not break on the Hardlex. Like I said, I've never really had a problem either way. Some people just like having sapphire glass in their watches because they like knowing that they have sapphire, but you know, it's kind of a preference for you. And if this is going to be maybe your one and only automatic watch, or you don't really care about getting into watches long term, you know, I don't think it's really going to be a big deal. Now, this watch does have a bit of a sporty look. You know, and when I initially picked it up, I thought it was going to be more of a dress watch. And, you know, maybe something you wear occasionally when you're getting dressed up. But I'll tell you, I've been wearing this almost exclusively since I bought it about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. As just an everyday watch, and I think it, you know, wears just fine and fills that role just fine as well. Like I said, with the, you know, on the face of it, there's really not too much going on. You know, it doesn't scream like a dive watch like this one does. You can see there's a whole lot of, you know, you got the bezel, the dive bezel. You got all the indices on there. You really don't have a whole lot of that with this watch, so it is very nice and clean, and it can be sporty. So, on that note, though, do not think this is one you can go diving with or swimming with. It's got a 30 meters water resistance, which doesn't mean it can sit at the bottom of a pool that's 30 meters deep and be fine, or that you can go diving 30 meters down and be fine with it. What that means is that, you know, you can splash a little bit of water on it, you know, maybe get caught in a light rain, no problem, but don't, you know, don't try to get this one submerged. This crown is not screw down. It doesn't have the extra gaskets or the screw down, you know, build inside to help keep out water. So this one will have issues if you, you know, if you try to go swimming with it, but, you know, so what? Your Apple Watch, you know, some of the older Apple Watches, all those kind of funky watches, same thing. You just take it off before you go in the pool, you should be good to go. If you have something like this is a 200-meter dive watch, it'll be just fine for that. So, you know, you get one of these if that's what you really want to do. But for an everyday piece, I think this one will work just fine for you. Drawbacks to this particular watch are that the lug-to-lug width for the straps does make it a little more of a pain in the butt to find good straps, but it's not really a big deal breaker. This strap combination is actually, these are actually 20 millimeter straps, and you can see they're bunched up a little bit in there, but they do squeeze in there just fine. So you should have plenty of options if you want to keep the straps, you know, strap changes happening. Changing a strap on a watch is pretty easy once you know what to do. I know a lot of people are a little daunted by that, but don't worry too much, you know. And then also note that changing the straps on your watch is a great way to feel like you have a fresh watch. I mean, I've had these straps on there, and they looked really good on this piece. These are Hadley Roma straps. Let's see if I can find the link to these in Amazon. This is a G&Co gray strap. I'll see if I can put a link in there as well. I thought it looked kind of funny if I put gray on gray, but I think it works. I think it looks pretty good. Now, this watch does come on a stainless steel bracelet. You can see it's a brushed bracelet. It looks nice, but this thing is a piece of crap. I'll be honest with you. If you really want to keep this watch on a bracelet, there are some aftermarket bracelets you can purchase. The watch channel, Just the Watch, features a video on that, so you can actually type in Seiko SNXS79 bracelet. I'll see if maybe I can put a link in the description below for that one too, just so you can see that that particular bracelet and put it on there. But you know, when they put the bracelet on here for this particular watch, I think they did it more just like an afterthought. Maybe just rating the parts bin so they can put a bracelet on there. But, you know, you've got a fully brushed bracelet, but you've got a fully polished case. So you've got a little bit of contrast right there. Contrast isn't a bad thing, but, you know, if you look at more expensive watches, you know, typically there's a lot more synergy between the two. So, again, if you want to keep this on a watch, it does look good on a watch, on a bracelet. You know, there are options out there. I would highly recommend you look into them, but this one, it's a hair puller. It's just cheap, tinny. It's just, there's nothing really redeeming about this bracelet. I think they just pulled out of their parts bin to have one. Just a quick closer look at the dial, and you can see just how well they did on it. The date wheel does have two variations. You can have it in English or you can have it in Arabic on this particular piece. I think this was more of an international release, so they typically have two options there. Most of the watches you buy here in the States are going to be English and Spanish, but this one has English and Arabic. I thought that was kind of cool, so I'm going to keep it at that. But you know, you'll find some watches have English and Spanish, some have I think Roman numerals, and some have Japanese kanji for the date. So you know, kind of keep things a little bit interesting there. Another negative with this watch, the crown can be a little bit of a pain. It is very small, so to pop it out, you've got to kind of get your fingernail in there to pull it out. And even when it's pulled out, to change the day or change the time, there's really not a whole lot of purchase on there. So if you have bigger fingers, it can be kind of a pain to do that, but it's not a big deal. You know, only a couple of gripes that I've had with this piece, and none of them are deal breakers by any means that would keep me from recommending it. One last thing I want to show you, and then we'll be good, is the Lume. Let me go ahead and turn off the lights. And there we go. There's a little bit of ambient light behind me. But as you can see, the lume on this thing is fantastic. Seiko does a great job with their lume. This thing will last all evening, not a problem. It's not going to be this bright all evening, but you know, I've worn this during the day without, you know, putting a flashlight on it to charge it up, and then, you know, first thing in the morning at, you know, 6-7 a.m. You can still see the still see it. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I think it does lead to a bit of the sportiness of this piece. Go ahead and get the lights back on. There we go. And that's it. I mean, I purchased this watch for about $100 from jomashop.com. They are a gray market dealer. Gray market, we'll kind of talk about that you know, maybe at a later video or so. But you know, I'll see if I can put a link in there. You can also get this on eBay. You can get it on Amazon. I really wouldn't recommend, if you're looking for this, paying more than maybe $100 or so for this piece. You know, there are more expensive watches that do give you a little more value and comes with maybe a little more ruggedness, water resistance, maybe a better movement in there. But, you know, for an entry-level piece, or even just a piece that, you know, maybe you've got a lot of really expensive watches, but you just want something kind of sporty, you can just throw on and, you know, not feel too bad about if something happens to it. This is a great piece. So that's about all I have to say about this one. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.